What's up everybody, Yogi here. Now before we get into this video, I just wanted to let you guys know that I do not plan on answering any questions regarding what can I use this unit for or substitute this unit for instead of, one of them that I'm using. And I'm not trying to be rude here. I hope I'm not coming off like that, but I just don't know what you guys have in your boxes. There are so many more units that are in the game from when I first started doing YouTube, because when I first started I knew all the units, all their abilities and all that, so I could easily suggest stuff for people. But now it is getting to be very difficult to keep doing that. So what I'm going to be doing is what I always do. I'm going to tell all of you guys what I'm using each unit for, and then from there you guys can replace those units with something you have in your box that's closely resembling it. But I can tell you guys from the very beginning that you do not need any of the units that I am bringing myself. You want to bring a Final Valley Naruto as your helper, that's for sure, but aside from that, without any of these units you can still find another way to beat this. That being said, this is the team that I am currently using to farm it out on, since I do not have a Kakashi of my own. And I cannot stress enough, if you do not have your own Kakashi, do not bring a friend one. Not like he's a terrible unit or anything, but he just is more of a liability at that point, because he does not have the boost that he will gain from using him yourself. Therefore, he's just going to be a strong bravery character with some damage reduction for you, and that's pretty much it. He's guaranteed to hit him, but the damage output is not worth the trade-off of healing and damage reduction that Final Valley Naruto gives in this case. So what's going on with this map is every single last unit here is vast range, so you want to try to space your units out, but it's definitely going to be difficult. That's why you want to bring a lot of damage reduction on your team. All of the Jinchuriki also have AoE jutsus that's going to be a straight shot across the map, and they will health recovery seal you, whereas Obito has a mid-range circle for his jutsu, and his jutsu will be inflicting you with slip damage. So basically made to shut you down from healing and hit you with slip damage, all the while constantly attacking and comboing you. So what you want to do here is do everything you can to get rid of the Jinchuriki as soon as possible, and then you can stall up on White Mask Toby. Him alone, any of them alone, are not much of a threat whatsoever because their damage output is on the low side. Now I can tell you guys right now that I am being very reckless playing right now the way I am, because I have done this multiple times and I know the limits of this team. But depending on what you are running or having to work with, you definitely want to play more on the careful side and make sure that Final Valley Naruto is the one taking the hits in this case. And you also want to make sure that he has all of his abilities if you're going to pick one from your friend list, so that you use his ultimate earlier than later. Now the three things you want to make sure you're looking for when you're building your team is going to be damage reduction, healing, and then units that ignore substitution. The two most important ones that you are definitely going to need is going to be the self-healing and then the damage reduction. Now depending on what units you have and what you're running, more damage reduction means you can work with less healing. Less damage reduction means you need more healing. Now in my case, I have a consistent 1,800 self-heal going on, 500 from each Heart Naruto I have here, 600 from the 6-path one, and then another 200 from One Tail Naruto since he is max duped. I can definitely work with less here because I have enough damage reduction from the Final Valley Narutos. So if you can't reach that much, don't worry about it. Now when it comes to the damage reduction side, we have damage reduction on both 6-path Naruto and 6-path Madara, so they will be taking less than normal from being a regular bravery unit like One Tail Naruto in this case. If he gets hit, he's going to be taking the most damage here out of everyone. Kakashi's going to be taking neutral damage, whereas both Final Valley Narutos are going to be taking 40% less damage thanks to their first or second ability. It's one of those. And then also One Tail Naruto has a 15% damage reduction buddy skill. So the best row to tank with in my case is going to be the middle row, but since I've been running this so much, I'm not going to be going out of my way to make sure that the middle one is tanking. Now what I am doing here is going out of my way to boost up my One Tail Naruto to 150 for the second map, so I can quickly nuke him and get onto the last map. And I will also be making sure that I finish him off with my first row so that One-Tail Naruto gets the first movement on the second map. Now, when I mentioned the part about the units that ignore substitution, all the units here can ignore substitution except One-Tail Naruto and Heart Kakashi. And this ignore substitution ability is needed for the second and third map because Obito has a consistent 40% chance of dodging your attacks. Now, when it comes to me nuking him, sometimes it takes 3 turns, sometimes it takes 4 turns to nuke him with ultimates. I can only beat him in 3 turns if One-Tail Naruto attacks enough times, but again, since he has the 40% dodge, I can miss a lot and, you know, won't kill him in the 3 turns. But there is no reason to stall on the second map. You should just get to the third map as soon as possible. If you stick around too long on the second map, however, the things you need to know about Obito's jutsu is that will give him extra damage reduction, and then his secret technique will attack weaken you by 45%, so it will drastically lower your attack output. That's why I like to get rid of him as soon as possible, and if you are stalling, try to leave the same unit in the front row. Otherwise, you know, all of your units are going to be extremely weakened, and then it will be even harder to take him out. We're now on to the final map. That means the last Obito. He's going to put up 100% resistance to Jutsu Ceiling Immobilizing and now slip damage, and then also give himself a constant 40% damage reduction along with 40% chance of substituting. So I'm going to start off here with Final Valley Naruto's ultimate and then follow up with the next one right afterwards. The first 2 ultimates you use once getting to this map are the most crucial because that is before he will start to have up his extra damage reduction. So keep in mind how much that did. 40,000 damage boosted with the other Final Valley Naruto, so I did do a good amount of damage there. But I can guarantee you guys, if he had his extra amount of damage reduction on, I would have been doing around 20k or less, and 20k is being generous. Now, the only other opening or chance you have to use your ultimate and dish out the most damage you can on him is after he uses his secret technique. That is the one and only time that he will lose his extra damage reduction. So the 40% is always there, but the extra one is the one you got to look out for. Obviously, if you have your own Bravery Kakashi, he ignores damage reduction anyway, and he takes away so much HP with his ultimate because the boost he has is insane. But in my case, it's basically going to be me just continually attacking him. You know, I don't worry about how much damage he does with his jutsu because I know I can heal it back here, so that's where you're going to see me bunching up around him. I'm going to be using 6-path Madara and Final Valley Naruto's jutsu here and there because I can regenerate chakra if I'm lucky enough, because again, 40% chance of dodging, and while they ignore substitution on their jutsus, they do not ignore it on their regular attacks, so he can avoid that and mess up my combo potentially, but you're going to see me doing that here and there. Now, once you figure out the pattern of his attacks, it's actually very easy because once his defenses are down after using his secret technique, let's say you use your first row to attack the first time around, next time he uses secret technique, it'll automatically be your second row's turn and then your third row's turn, and it alternates like that. So as long as you got the pattern down, you're pretty much good. And if you do not have as many units with damage reduction, and Final Valley Naruto is the best one, you want to stall with him closer to Obito and just wait for your ultimates to be ready. It'll definitely take longer, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to complete this raid. He is literally the first free-to-play unit to have a full map ultimate, and he does have self-heal too, so not a bad unit to farm up whatsoever. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe before you go. If it did, peace.
That's right.